Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Monday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. We're here every morning, and I mean every morning. We are here on BettingPros.com, on YouTube for the video, and always where you get your audio podcast. BetMGM's a sponsor. $10 wager wins $150 any event. Use that promo code JUICE150. $10 wins you $150. JUICE150 for new users that is, for BetMGM, BetMGM.com. All right, so here's where we're at today. I thought it might be fun to do a quick little recap as we hit the midway point of the NFL season, kind of where we are from a win total perspective on some of the bets we have made. And so I'm going to do that on some of the bets that I think are doing pretty well. The recap for yesterday, it's a winning day. It's a good day. Full unit wagers. We win on the Chargers. We win on the Patriots. And we get the Wong teaser, which now is 7-2 on the year for our Sunday morning Wong teasers, which is great. We get the Raiders wrong and the Rams wrong. And we go 3-1 on the player props, including an even money bet on Damian Harris to score an anytime touchdown for the Patriots, and he came in and scored. So we get the Waller prop over, we get the Jimmy Garoppolo prop over, and DJ Moore did not catch over 66 yards for the Panthers. We got that wrong. So 3-1 there. So up more than a half a unit on the props, and we get ourselves up about almost a unit for the full wagers. So overall, officially not bad. I go 2-1 on my personal play. So overall, if the Rams had won and covered, that would have been the best Sunday of the season for me. It's now the second best Sunday for the season for me. So good day, winning day, always really fun when you capitalize on that. Okay, today I've got a Monday Night Football same game teaser. You can probably guess where I'm going. It's going to be very popular. Don't care. I think it's the only way to bet the game. And then I got two NBA plays to give you for a half a unit each that I want to talk about here in just 1 second. But first and foremost, let's take a look at where some of these teams are as we head into the second half of the season. And let's start with the Titans from last night. So the Titans get a huge win on the road against the Rams. And so many people were on the Rams, including myself. It was extremely public, but another underdog winning the game outright. It was a monster story. Underdogs winning the game outright. I mean, if the Bears, you got to almost like look out here because the Bears going into this game on Monday night, it's like Bears money line. If you want to talk about what yesterday was like, Bears money line probably is a decent spot, decent place to jump into it. But let's just go through some of the wins that we've got win total. So now the Titans are 6-2 on the year, and the Titans have played really well. They've won 4 games in a row now for the Titans. And we have over 9.5 wins for the Titans. So looking at the Titans schedule right now, I mean, we should get there. It would be rather shocking if we don't. They play the Saints, the Texans, at the Patriots, the Jaguars. We need to find 4 more wins on this schedule. The Texans twice, 2 wins. Jaguars, 3 wins. Now we need a win over the Saints, Steelers, Patriots, 49ers, or Dolphins. I think we get there. I think we're getting 10 wins. I feel pretty good about the Titans cashing that 1 unit bet for us. Titans to go over their win total of 9.5. Let's look at the Raiders, who lost yesterday. Raiders are now 5-3. We need 2 more wins out of the Raiders this year to go over the 6.5 that we bet for my favorite bet of the entire NFL season. We've got Chiefs next week on Sunday Night Football. Bengals, tough. At the Cowboys, tough. Washington, game they can win. At the Chiefs, tough. At the Browns, tough. Broncos, game they can win. At the Colts, a game they can win. And home for the Chargers, a game they can win. They're going to have to take care of business here against Washington and then steal one from somebody else, okay? And the hope is that the wheels don't completely come off the wagon here now in the wake of the Henry Ruggs thing. But need 2 more wins for the Raiders, and we get there and we cash that bet. The New Orleans Saints, over 9.5 wins for New Orleans. It's going to be really hard to get there without Jameis Winston, okay? Really hard. They lose to the Falcons. They came all the way back. They're 5-3 on the year. They've got the Titans on the road next week. Ouch. At the Eagles, yeah, winnable game, but not with Trevor Siemian. Home for the Bills, home for the Cowboys, at the Jets, at the Bucks, home for the Dolphins, home for the Panthers, at the Falcons. Can we get 5 more wins out of the Saints? I don't know. I'm going to, mark that down as kind of an L. I think that's going to most likely be a loss. Another game, another win total I think is going to be a loss is the Steelers. They're 4-3 right now. I think they win tonight against the Bears. They'll be 5-3. They have a game against the Lions next week, a game they should win. At the Chargers, at the Bengals, home for the Ravens, at the Vikings, home for the Titans, at the Chiefs, home for the Browns, at the Ravens, right? So if they'll be 5-3, the hope then they'll be 6-3 after the Lions. We need them to fall apart, like straight up fall apart. They can win 2 more games, and the schedule is not easy, but we'll need Pittsburgh to really, really cool off big time if we're going to cash that win total. I think it's going to be pretty hard for us to get there. So just looking at a couple of them, Titans looks good, Raiders looks good, Saints do not, Steelers do not, Falcons look good. I mean, the Falcons over 7.5 wins. That was one of the more controversial ones. But the Falcons with that win, they're 4-4, and we need to find 4 more wins out of the Titans. All right, sorry, out of the Falcons rather. They play the Cowboys, who all of a sudden look pretty shaky on the road next week. Home for the Patriots, tough. At the Jaguars, game they should win. Home for the Bucks, tough. At the Panthers, game they should win. At the 49ers, tough. Home for the Lions, game they should win. At the Bills, tough. And then home for the Saints, tough. They got 2 wins I think they've got on that schedule to get them to 6. And then we need them to kind of catch a couple of teams napping and win a couple of games they're not supposed to get to 8. Definitely going to be tough. Not saying that's going to be easy to get over 7.5 wins on the Falcons, but that will kind of make or break us here on the futures. But halfway point, crazy things can happen. Teams can get hot. Teams can lose quarterbacks and whatnot. So Saints may not be totally dead. Pittsburgh might fall apart. But those are, as we hit this, here we are at for our future wagers halfway in. We're looking good on 2, not so great on another, and kind of a coin flip for the Falcons that could decide whether we're profitable or not here for our NFL win total futures here on the Daily Juice. Okay, let's get right to it here on a Monday night. We've got a 7-point line and a total of 39 for Pittsburgh hosting the Chicago Bears on the road. Chicago has only gone over 2 times this season. They're 2-6 to the over. Pittsburgh's even worse. They're 1-5-1 to the over. The only time they went over was at home against Denver when it was a 27-19 final with a total of 40. They pushed against Seattle in their last home game, 23-20, where the total was 43. It went under by 18 points last week on the road at Cleveland. For Chicago, they went over week 1 against the Rams, 46 points. It was a 34-14 loss. And they went over against the 49ers, 33-22, a loss, going over by 15 points and over by 2 points. But in the meantime, in the middle, every other game went under for the Chicago Bears. And some of the bits went way under. 6, 6, 17, 3.5, 13, and 7.5 to the under. Pittsburgh's been a little bit closer. 18 points, a push, 1, 8, 3.5, and 8.5 to the under for point totals. How far underneath Pittsburgh has gone for their point totals. If you look at the Chicago offense, it has not been impressive at all. And look, I think Justin Fields could be a very good quarterback. But they're 3-5 to the number. They have failed to cover their last 3 games. But it's Monday night, and we've seen road teams, we've seen dogs play really well here. Pittsburgh laying 7 points. It feels too heavy for Pittsburgh laying. They're 3-4 to the number themselves. 2-3. 2 out of the last 3 games they have covered against Denver and Cleveland. They did not cover on the road at home against Seattle as 5.5-point favorites. They won by 3, but that big one over Cleveland last week was pretty impressive, and then the win against Denver as 1.5-point dogs, winning it by 8. But this has not been a great season for Pittsburgh offensively. Like, they're not scoring a ton of points. Like we mentioned, 1-5-1 to the total, so they're not scoring a whole lot of points here, okay? That makes 7 feel pretty high. So, again, we're going to go back to a same-game teaser, and this is going to be very popular. I think a bunch of people are going to do it, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh down to -1, just win the game, take the total from 39 up to 45, and take the under. We tried this before, and it burned me. I'm going to go back to it because if this game goes over, I mean, okay, hold on a second. Last night went under for the Rams in their game against the Titans, so I'm hoping for a similar type of low-scoring, battling it out type of an affair, running the ball, a lot of punts on both sides in Pittsburgh. We're going Pittsburgh's -1 and Chicago in the under 45 for a 6-point same game teaser at minus 120 for 1 unit. That's my only play here on this game. I'll have some anytime touchdown, Hail Mary type stuff going personally, but officially that's the only play I want to give out is same game teaser, Chicago-Pittsburgh, Steelers minus 1, under 45. All right, so to the NBA we go, and there are two very intriguing games. Miami Heat, they are starting a roadie, a long road trip that's going to be, look, it's going to be challenging for this Miami Heat team. I don't think there's any real way around it in terms of looking at where they're what they're going to be dealing with on the road here tonight, starting a road trip against the Denver Nuggets, who have not been great. This road trip is Denver, Lakers, Clippers, Jazz, Thunder. 5-game roadie here starting. But game one of a road trip, you normally play pretty well. Like sometimes when you're playing the last game of a homestand and you know you're going to go on the road, sometimes a team will play distracted. But they just took on the Utah Jazz at home on Saturday, and they won the game 118-115. They're 7-2 on the year so far, and now they start this 5-game road trip up against the Denver Nuggets, who have been bad against the number. 7-2 straight up, but 7-2 against the spread for the Miami Heat so far this year, and they covered that 3-point. They were 1-point dogs at home to Utah, and they won by 3 on Saturday. They did not cover against Boston. They were laying 6.5 points, and they lost by 17. But before that, they had covered 5 straight games. 7-2 so far, and on the road, they're 3-1 against the spread so far this year. On the other side, Denver has not covered in their last 3 games, including their last home game against Houston, where they only won by 1 point to the Rockets. Things are not going well right now for the Denver Nuggets. They need Jamal Murray back. Jokic is trying to do a lot, but they've lost 3 games in a row against the number. They've lost 2 out of 3 straight up, and 1-3 at home here against the number for the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to lay the hotter team here. I'm going to lay the 1.5 points. Give me Miami, half a unit, minus 1.5 for the Miami Heat tonight to go into Denver to start this road trip off on a good note. I think Miami's the better team here, playing better. I think there's something really broken with the Denver Nuggets right now, and maybe because of last year, all the hype and the attention, sometimes it's hard for these teams to get going. Michael Porter Jr. has been bad for Denver so far, and they need him desperately to have a big game and need him just to play much better. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Miami Heat here. Miami on the road at Denver for a half a unit at minus 110. And for the other half a unit, I'm going to go to the Golden State Warriors hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this number is 2.5 that I took tonight, so I'm hoping you guys are getting 2.5 because I want to go below 3. Atlanta is desperate, and I mean straight up desperate right now. The Hawks are 3-7 against the number. They've lost their last 3 games, including as 3.5-point dogs. They lost to Phoenix by 4. They were catching 1.5 to Utah. They lost by 18. They lost their 4.5 dogs to Brooklyn. They lost by 9. I don't know who the Atlanta Hawks ticked off, but the Atlanta Hawks schedule right now is brutal. This is a good basketball team that's trying to find its way, but they're going to try to find their way with a 4-6 record with their schedule up against the teeth of the NBA. So here is what they're playing. And this is the run. Brooklyn on the road, home for Utah, at Phoenix, at Golden State, at Utah, at Denver, home for Milwaukee, home for Orlando, home for Boston. That is an absolute insane stretch for the Atlanta Hawks, who are 4-6, who have lost 3 games in a row straight up, and 5 of their last 6 games straight up. And they're coming in desperate to take on the Golden State Warriors, who are playing on the second end of a back-to-back. But the Warriors did not have to play Steph Curry much. Only 27 minutes played for Steph Curry, just 30 points for Draymond Green. And this Warrior team right now is playing extremely well. They are 6-3 against the numbers so far. They have covered their last 4 games. Even though they barely covered last night against Houston, they still covered. They covered by 41 against New Orleans. They covered by 22 against Charlotte. They covered by 21 against Oklahoma City. They're 4-0 on this current homestand against the number. And it's not all Steph Curry. And this is the beautiful thing about this team right now is it's not just Steph Curry. 120-107, the win last night against the Rockets, who are now 0-7 away from home. But this team is just doing some really impressive things, and they're scoring. They're playing good defense. And again, just from a minutes perspective, Curry plays 27 minutes, scores 20 points, was a plus 16. Jordan Poole plays 30 minutes, 25 points, was a plus 3. Draymond Green plays 22 minutes only, 6 points. So they rested these guys, didn't need to play them, big minutes all the way into the fourth quarter, deeper into the fourth quarter. And that, I think, is going to really help them here against an Atlanta Hawks team that is absolutely desperate. 2.5 is an important number. I want this under 3. I think this is going to be an absolute barn burner of a basketball game. I could see it going to overtime. The Hawks are desperate to get a win. I just don't think that the Hawks defensively right now are good enough. And this Hawks team, I feel for them because we're on the over for the win total for the Hawks. I just don't trust right now that this Hawks team is going to be able to score enough to keep up, and I don't like their defense. And on the road right now, things have not gone well for the Atlanta Hawks on the road. They are on the road. They are 0-6 against the spread so far this year on the road. 0-6. 3-2 for the Warriors, but they've won their last 3 games in a row, all at home. Actually, now 4 games, so it's 4-2 at home, 4 games in a row, 4-2 at home for the Warriors, 0-6 on the road for the Atlanta Hawks. Again, that number is going to change, right? Eventually, they're going to win a game and cover, and they're going to get that 0 off their win total, but I just, from an ATS perspective, I just don't see it. Atlanta's giving up 110 points per game right now. That is not great. They're giving up 53.2%, effective field goal percentage, which is 24th in the league right now. If you want to talk about three-point shooting perspective, giving up 34% three-point shooting percentage. That's 17th best in the league. These are not good numbers to go on the road against the Golden State Warriors, who, as you would expect, are 3rd best in the NBA in three-point percentage with 38.4% makes right now. Even though Atlanta's defense at times has been okay, and, there are certain stats that do pop up and kind of make them go, all right, they're doing okay in certain defensive stats, but overall, offensively, they're okay, middle of the pack. Defensively, they're okay, middle of the pack. And the Warriors right now could be the best team in the NBA. And I know people are like, wait, what? Yeah. I mean, look at their stats. Their stats are crazy right now with the way that they're playing, in particular at home. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points. I want it below 3. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points of the Golden State Warriors here for a half a unit. Okay? So 3 plays, 2 NBA, 1 in the NFL. Same game teaser. Pittsburgh -1, under 45 on Monday Night Football. We're taking the Golden State Warriors -2.5 at home against Atlanta, and the Miami Heat -1.5 on the road against the Denver Nuggets coming up here tonight for NBA basketball. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. I'll talk to you in the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat to get in. Link underneath here on YouTube to get into the Discord channel. I may add player props or something else going into the day-to-day. Good day Saturday, good day Sunday. Let's have a good Monday to wrap up the week here for the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. On Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Every morning it's the Daily Juice Podcast. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.